And thank you everyone for joining the second workshop that's honoring Salim Halali today on June 23rd. I'm really excited to be here again with you to talk about Salim today as we are starting Pride Weekend here in New York. What I want to do today is tell you a little bit about the story of Salim Halali, and I have just learned that Salim Halali's niece is actually in the room. So maybe we'll have you, Eti, talk a little bit about your uncle, and I'm so honored that you joined us here today. So we'll talk a little bit about Salim's story, and then we'll learn one of his most famous songs called Sidi Habibi. Some of you may know the song, some of you may have learned it already with me. Some of you may not know the song at all. So we'll learn it step by step. It's like a very famous chaabi, meaning popular North African song that actually will allow us to not only get to know some of the melodies that are famous in North Africa, but also maybe look a little bit at rhythm and quarter tones today. All right. So why don't we jump in right away and talk a little bit about Salim. Salim Halali was a queer decolonial superstar in popular North African music called chaabi. He was born in 1920 in Boune in Algeria. His father was Turkish and his mom was Judeo-Berber. And he lived and performed throughout his life in Algeria and Morocco, in France, and internationally across the MENA region, and also in Canada. But he was really throughout his life living and performing between Algeria, Morocco, and France. He grew up in Algeria. He started performing at a very young age when he was 17 in Arabic cabarets, and then he moved to Paris in 1937, right before the war, where he was also performing in Arabic music cabarets. And when the war started, he actually was still in France and stayed in France throughout the war. Because his life was in danger, obviously, he actually received protection from the great rector of the Paris Mosque, Sikadour Ben Rabrit, who signed a certificate saying he was Muslim, which protected him from deportation. His sister, however, was not protected in that way and was deported and died in Auschwitz. It is unclear why he received protection and the rest of his family did not receive protection, but he had close connection with the rector of the mosque, and it's also unclear why he didn't go back to Morocco, because he did get protection from the king Mohammed V, who was a protector of Arab Jews, and particularly Moroccan Jews during the war. There is a movie that was done on his life story in France that's called Les Hommes Libres. If you're interested, I'll send you the link later in the workshop. You'll have it with the PDF on Salim Halali. And this movie in English is called Free Men. There's actually a translated version. Is a fictional rendition of his life. There are some problems with it, I think, but but if you're interested to sort of understand more the time period that he was living in, this is a good place to start. In Paris, he founded two cabarets. He was an all-around showman, and he founded two cabarets, one called Le Sérail and one called Folie Ismaïlia, where he performed with the great names of Arabic music. And after the war, he moved back to Morocco, actually, in 1949, and he founded a cabaret called Le Coq d'Or, where the greatest name of Arabic music performed. Warda El Jazirin performed there, Lynn Montis, Emile Maghrebi. He was also a very good friend of Kulthum, who was pretty much the greatest diva of Arabic music of the second half of the 20th century, Egyptian. And she had said of him that he was the greatest singer of chaabi music, which he was really proud of. He was really proud of the fact that Kulthum had said that. So he was really going in between France and Morocco and Algeria, but he moved back to France, and more specifically to south of France, to Cannes, in the 60s. Cannes here is really well known for the festival of cinema, obviously, but actually it's a place between Cannes, Nice, and Marseille where a lot of Sephardi Jews, a lot of Jews from North Africa moved to in the 60s and 70s on the other side of the Mediterranean. Salim Halali had his own relationship to nationalism. He really lived out his politics like on his own terms. In the 70s, he was invited once to Israel to sing some of his most famous hits, and he cried on the stage, "Long live the Arab nation," and he was never invited back. Even though his music was very present in all of Sephardi and Mizrahi private celebrations, weddings, parties, bar mitzvahs, his music was always there. I recall growing up actually with his music in France, in Paris, and in Israel as well, and hearing Sidi Habibi, which I'm going to teach you later today, hearing it in all of the hennas, all of the Moroccan weddings of the time. He retired in 1993 after a very full life. He was really well known for throwing extravagant parties in his villa in Cannes. Apparently he used to love bringing elephants to these parties. He had 2 pet tigers. And I think, Mara, if you can go back down to the first page of the PDF, you'll see that he was a very glamorous man. I love seeing that picture of him where he's like reclining in his velvet robe in front of like a mint teapot for one of his album covers. So after a very full life, he retired in Cannes in 1993, and he spent his old age there with his longtime partner Pierre until he passed away in 2005. So he performed some of the most famous songs of the chaabi repertoire. Some of them he took from the folk traditional repertoire, some of them he wrote, and his songs were then covered by many great singers of the MENA region, Middle East and North Africa. One of them is called Sidi Habibi, which I like to translate into Mr. Love. And it's a chaabi song that talks about his lover. I think it's a revolutionary song for the time because basically he's addressing his lover in the masculine, you know, being a man, and he calls his lover and he's asking, "Where's my lover? Where's my Mr. Love?" And the whole crowd used to respond, "There he is. He's here. Here's your Mr. Love." So that's the song that we're gonna learn now. Mara, if you can go to page 5. We're going to have a look at the lyrics first, and then we'll dive into the music. And while we do that, Eddie, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm just so moved and excited that you're here and part of the conversation. I wonder if there's anything that you want to share on the story of your uncle, and maybe memories, like family memories that you have and that you want to share.
You should have permission to unmute yourself if you would like to share.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank you so much for bringing Salim to the knowledge of everybody else. I would like to correct, his father was not born in Turkey. I know that that's what's written somewhere and everybody is copying from one another. The other thing, I would like to correct something that bothered me many years, that he's called anti-Zionist. He was not anti-Zionist. I remember in the early 60s, he was in our house. He spoke to my father and he said how important is to have peace with the Arabs. And to call him anti-Zionist is so unfair. So I want you to know that he loved coexistence. And unfortunately, Israel, in the beginning of Israel, anybody from North Africa or Muslim countries was considered second-grade citizens. So I just want to correct the record. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Etty. Thank you so much. Do you know if his father had roots in Turkey or was he Algerian?
He was born in the border of Tunisia and Algeria. I was lucky enough to find his birth certificate in an archive. And if you want, I will be happy to share it with you.
Thank you so much, Etty. And on your second remark, I agree with you. My understanding was not that he was like anti-Zionist or openly anti-Zionist. My understanding is that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that he had like a very lived experience of sort of like shared culture with Muslims and with the Arabic culture, and that I think he was affected by the fact that the creation of the State of Israel and the way that it was done, and also the rise of Arab nationalism created a separation, like a deep rupture between Jewish and Muslim communities, especially for North African communities, and that he was one of the artists who worked towards keeping that communality between Jewish and Muslims coming from that region.
I don't want to take too much of your time, but I was present in the concert where he says, Vive le National Arabe, or whatever you say it in French.
Yes.
And he was so insulted from the reaction of the audience. He left the concert in the middle. We went behind the scene, and he went to his apartment next to Abima, took his stuff straight to the airport, and he swore that he will never put his feet again in Israel. Yeah. And that was pity, because Israel lost a wonderful music.
Absolutely, agreed. Wow, thank you so much for this testimony. This is so precious, Etty, and like I always wanted to hear more and learn more about that specifically. So thank you for bringing that really direct testimony. All right, shall we learn Salim's song? All right, so first of all, before we start, let's have a look at those lyrics, which I truly love. He starts, so I transliterated it here in Arabic. It's dialect Arabic, so oftentimes it's transliterated into, you know, French lyrics or Hebrew lyrics. Usually, you wouldn't necessarily see it in classical Arabic because it's dialect. Sometimes you would, but here you have a transliteration in, I guess, English that you see on the left, and you see the translation on the right. So first of all, let me give you some elements of pronunciation. So the song starts like this. هلا هلا دار البيضة ديالي هيلي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو يحصر على دوك الايام في القدر ديالي هيلي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو سيدي حبيبي ها هو حبيبي ديالي هوا غزالي مالو نساني هيلي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو. Okay, so let's talk about pronunciation a little bit. So here I gave you like a little legend where oftentimes the way that we transliterate some of the Arabic letters that are not in the French or English alphabet, we do it with numbers. So 7 is the equivalent of ha, het in Hebrew. So it's a guttural sound. And maybe we can try to do it all together. Ha. Okay. And then the 3 is the transliteration of the ayn, which is also a guttural sound. So maybe we can try to do that together also. Ayn. Yes, and I invite you to do it in your room. I know that everybody's muted and we can't have everybody obviously talk in the live room, but please use your own spaces to really speak up and raise your voices, and if you'd like to join later to sing, we'll ask you to unmute. So ha, ayn, and then when you see a Q, it's this letter that's pretty hard to say, so I'm gonna break it down for you. It's ka. Yeah, so it's also a guttural letter, and it's a mix of ka, of the Q, literally, plus a ha. So ka. Yes. So for example, on the sentence يحسرا على دوك اليم, so you have the يحسرا or يحسرا, the 7 for the ha, and then على يحسرا على دوك. All right. I'll guide you through it, don't worry. It's a lot, and I won't ask you to sing the full song, but we're going to do a lot of call and response. So I wanted to give you a little bit of that. Another letter that you'll encounter, especially in this sentence, Urzali malun sani. Urzali is the GH, which is pronounced as ra, almost like the French, actually like the French R. So also back in the throat, ra, rain. So urzali, urzali. Yes. Great. Okay. So we're going to start with a simple call and response. I'm going to teach you the chorus, okay, where he asks, "Where is my Mr. Love, Sidi Habibi?" And usually the audience responds, "Hawa." Here he is. Okay? So I sing Sidi Habibi and everybody responds Hawa. Okay. Sidi Habibi Hawa Habibi Diali Hawa. Let's do just that again and again in a loop. So I'll do Sidi Habibi and Habibi Diali, the call, and you'll do the response Hawa. Okay, here he is. Sidi Habibi Hawa Habibi Diali Hawa Sidi Habibi Hawa Habibi Diali Hawa Sidi Habibi Habibi Diali. Great. Now, are there some brave people who want to jump into the room, unmute themselves, and answer Hawa? You can raise your hand. Yes, Janet, and then Mel, and then Mona.
Right, okay.
All right, so I'm going to give you the call, and you're going to respond Hawa, okay?
Okay.
Sidi Habibi.
Aywa.
Habibi Jali.
Aywa.
Yes, okay, great. Let's do it one at a time. So the first Hawa is going to be Janet, and then second Hawa is going to be Mel, okay?
All right.
It's Marsha, sorry.
Oh, sorry, Marsha.
Yeah, sorry.
No, of course. All right. Sidi Habibi.
Aywa.
Habibi Jali.
Aywa.
Yes. Okay, so just a pronunciation thing, Janet. It's Hawa.
Hawa.
Ha, huwa.
Hawa.
Yeah, you got it. Hawa.
Wa.
Yeah, and let's do it in rhythm. Hawa.
Wa.
Yeah, that's the tough part. This song is really hard in terms of rhythm, but you'll get used to it over time. Hawa.
Wa.
You got it. Okay, let's do it again. Sidi Habibi.
Wa.
Habibi Jali.
Hawa.
Yes, Sidi Habibi.
Wa.
Habibi Jali.
Hawa.
You got it. Yes, amazing. Thank you, Janet and Marsha. Thank you. All right. Who else wanted to go? Mona. Who else wanted to go? All right, let's do it with Mona. Sidi Habibi.
Hawa.
Habibi Jali.
Hawa.
You got it. Yay! Okay. All right. So that's the core of the chorus. And actually, because it's a queer song, I've taken the permission to add a lyric, which you see at the bottom, which is that I also put in the feminine. So depending on who you are, your orientation, you can pick whatever answer you wanna give. So I wrote Sidi Habibi Hawa, and then Lala Habiba, lady love, Hiya, here she is. All right, so it goes Sidi Habibi Hawa, Lala Habiba, Hiya. Okay, so let's do a bit of pronunciation for now. In the feminine, it's Hiya. You're gonna repeat it after me. Hiya. Great. Okay, so again, let's do the call and response. For now, everybody's is muted. Sidi Habibi, Hawa, Lala Habiba, Hiya, Sidi Habibi, Lala Habiba. Great. Okay, who would like to do that response?
I think last time I saw Nicole.
Okay.
Yay!
Colleen? Yes? All right. You can unmute Nicolene.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Great. Okay, so I'll give you the call and you give me the response?
Yes.
Okay. Sidi Habibi.
Hawa.
Lala Habiba.
Hiya.
Great. And now let's work a little bit on the rhythm.
Yeah.
So it goes Sidi Habibi, Hawa, Lala Habiba, Hiya. Okay? Let's do it together. Sidi Habibi.
Hawa.
Yeah, I'll show it to you when you're supposed to enter it, okay?
Okay.
Sidi, I'll do it one time. Sidi Habibi, Hawa, Lala Habiba, Hiya. Let's all do this together because that's the tricky part of the song. And it's a typical Moroccan chaabi rhythm, or Algerian. I don't want to offend the Algerians. It's a North African rhythm. It's the chaabi rhythm, and it's particular because it's in 6/8 or even 12/8, which means that it's in 3. And in the West, we're not that used to rhythms in 3. We're more used to rhythms in 4. So it's a polyrhythmic sentence, and I'll have you listen to the darbuka later, just so you get a sense of how it sounds. But it's important to like really be in the rhythm in this one. So I'll do it one more time, and everybody, you're going to do it with me, and then Nicolene, you'll do it alone. So let's start to move our bodies. Sidi Habibi, Hawa, Lala Habiba, Hiya, Sidi Habibi, Hawa, Lala Habiba, Hiya, Sidi Habibi, Hawa, Lala Habiba, Hiya. Okay? All right. So, shall we try it, Nicolene?
Okay.
I'll help you. Sidi Habibi,
Hawa.
Lala Habiba,
Hiya.
غزالي ماله نساني. Okay, good. I mean, it's also hard because we're on Zoom, so like we're not exactly like in the same rhythm, but that's okay. We'll sing it all together later. Thank you so much, Nicolene. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you another answer that the audience usually gives the singer, which is هيلي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو. Ay ay ay, where is my lover? Okay? هيلي هيلي ay 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 عيني حبيبي ديالي, my lover فين هو, where is he? That's the second line that's bolded. Okay? So, first of all, let's just speak the line just to understand the pronunciation, and then I'll give you the melody. Haili haili. Maybe somebody wants to like unmute for that. Mira?
Haili.
Yeah, great. Habibi diali. Go ahead.
Habibi diali.
فين هو?
فين هو?
Exactly. هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو?
هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو?
Okay. And everybody, let's do it all together. هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو? Yes. Exactly, Danny. Thank you. Okay. So now the melody. The melody goes like this. I'm gonna sing it, and I'm gonna give you some time to respond in your own spaces. Haili, 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 Haili. Just that. Haili, 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 Haili. Great. Haili, Haili, حبيبي ديالي. هيلي حبيبي ديالي. هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو؟ 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 هلا وهلا هلي الدار اللي بيرا ديالي. هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو؟ يحصر على دوك الايام في القدر ديالي. هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو؟ سيدي حبيبي هاو حبيبي ديالي هاو غزالي مالو نساني. هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو. Okay, and now you get the whole structure of the song. Which is why I went through, okay? So let's try to rework on just that sentence. هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو. So you see that what happens is that the singer sings the unbolded lines هلا والهلالي دار البيضة ديالي, and then everybody responds هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو. And then when we get to the chorus, سيدي حبابي, everybody responds ها هو حبيبي ديالي ها هو. The singer غزالي ما نساني, and everybody هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو. Okay? Alright, who wants to jump in and sing هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو? Don't worry, I'll help you. Nicolene? Maybe
I
also...
give it a try, yeah?
Okay. هيلي
حبيبي ديالي فين هو.
Yeah, alors, so the Habibi, it's like a typical North African pronunciation, which is that there's not that many vowels. So it's not Habibi, it's not Habibi, it's Habibi.
Habibi.
Yeah. And then it falls right on the rhythm. هيلي حبيبي ديالي.
Okay.
هيلي حبيبي ديالي. Just that.
هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو.
Yes. هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو.
فين هو.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one. فين هو. Just that.
فين هو.
Yes. Great. Thank you, Nicolene. Mona, you want to try? And as people try alone, For the rest of the group, feel free to obviously sing along so that you can get used to it because you're next. Okay, Mona.
Haley, Haley, Habibi, Jali, Fenua.
Yes, you got it. Amazing. Thank you. Who else wants to try? Danny?
Do you start or do I? Do I respond?
You can start. You can start.
Okay. Ali, Ali, Habibi, Ali, Fan, Hua.
Yes. Let's work a little bit on rhythm. Hailey, Hailey.
Okay. I see that we're actually off because we have a delay.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll do it once and then you'll do it again, okay?
Thank you. Yeah. Well, the problem with the rhythm with Hailey, Hailey, Habibi, Di Ali. Okay. Because I normally would say Hailey, Hailey, Habibi, Di Ali, Fan, Hua. But that's not how you do it.
No, it's not.
Okay. So how do I get that rhythm between that in the second part?
Okay, so let me do the whole thing and then I'll break it down. Hailey, Hailey, Habibi Jali, Fain Huwa, Habibi Jali,
Fain Huwa. Yeah, Habibi Jali, Fain Huwa. But then it's
think Habi. Think Habi.
Habi. Oh, Habibi Ali.
Habi.
Got it.
No, Habibi. But don't think Habibi because that's an extra beat. Okay, so let's try it. Hailey, Hailey,
Habibi. You see, I'm still saying the Habibi.
I'll do it once and you're gonna repeat.
I have Sharky interference here. Yeah, so it's
exactly. Okay, I'll do it once and then you'll do it. Hailey, Hailey, Habibi Jali, Fain Huwa.
Hailey, Hailey, Habibi Jali, Fain Huwa. I'm just
Habibi Jali, just that.
Habibi, yeah. You see, I still getting Habibi Jali, Fain Huwa, and I'm putting too many syllables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just listen to just Habibi Jali and
it doesn't. I mean, I'll sing along, and when you sing along, I'll be fine.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Danny. Okay, so now we're gonna do the first two verses plus the chorus. You're gonna respond in your own space with the bolded lines, and then I'll ask someone to join in and sing in the space, okay? If you're good, you can give me a thumbs up. If you're not that good, you can tell me, I need some more work on this. Okay, let's do it. حبيبي ديالي فين هو يحسر على دوك اليم في قدر ديالي هيلي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو سيدي حبيبي هو حبيبي ديالي هو غزالي مالو نساني هيلي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو Okay? All right. Is there someone brave enough to jump in and do it with me? Evan?
It's like Stefan?
Oh, Stefan.
Sorry.
Stefan, sorry.
Yeah.
Stefan. All right. Do you have any questions, Stefan, before we start?
No. I think I'm good.
Great.
هلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو
يحصر على دوك الايام في القدر ديالي
هلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو
سيدي حبيبي
هو
حبيبي ديالي
هو
غزالي مالو نساني هيلي
هلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو
ياي Yay, Stefan, you did it. Amazing. Does anybody else want to try? Yes, Pam.
Okay.
All right.
Hello.
Hi. Do you have any
Hi.
questions before we start?
I don't think so. I just have to get back to the words. I'm on my phone. Okay, let's give it a try.
Okay. هلا هلا انظر البيضة ديالي
هايلي بيبي ديالي فين هو؟
يحصر على داك الأيام في القدر ديالي
هايلي بيبي ديالي فين هو؟
حبيبي ديالي
ها هو
سيدي حبيبي
ها هو
غزالي ما ننساني هيلي
بيبي ديالي فين هو؟
You did it! Yay! Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
Etty, would you like to sing with me?
Unfortunately, singing is not my forte, so sorry.
Okay. Well, I sing.
It was wonderful. Really, such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Etty. All right. Well, I sing under your permission, so let me know if you've heard it any differently in terms of rhythm or in melody. Okay, one additional little dimension is that sometimes Salim would add quarter tones here. So I don't want to go deep into it, but I just want you to hear it. Which is that this is something that singers from North Africa would very often do. In the traditional Andalusi North African music, there's actually no quarter tones. In the classical music from El Ala, which is the Middle Ages music. But in the last centuries, singers have sort of taken from the Middle East and have liked to add a flavor of quarter tones. And on this one, I've heard it sung different times. Chaabi, yeah. I've heard it sung in different ways, sometimes with quarter tones, sometimes without quarter tones, okay? So what I taught you here doesn't have quarter tones, but I'm gonna play it for you with quarter tones just so you hear the difference, okay? Can you hear the piano? Great. Okay, so you can hear that E half flat here, which gives it a really Middle Eastern Arabic flavor. So it goes. Which is different than different, but it's very small. It's really a quarter tone. So instead of having a half tone, you have a quarter tone there, and all of a sudden it moves eastward. Okay, la la la. And Salim was a specialist of that. He really knew how to go in and out of those quarter tones. And so when we'll listen to his version at the end of class, and you'll see that you'll hear some of that in some places. And sometimes he doesn't do it, sometimes he does it. Okay. Yes, we have maybe another 5 minutes to continue learning this. So I'm going to venture into teaching you one of the verses that you're going to be able to sing yourself. Okay? So let's try to learn Al-Warda, Al-Warda, Al-Warda Bishuka, the rose with the thorn. Ay, where is my love? So the pronunciation goes Al-Warda, Al-Warda بشقة. الوردة 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 بشقة. Okay. Does anybody want to try just saying that? Yes, Nicolene. You're really brave, Nicolene.
I give it a try. Al-warda, 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 bishuka.
Yes. So two things I will say. The R is actually rolled in the front. War, da.
Oh, that's difficult. I can't. That's in the. That's.
Okay.
Do it again. Please.
It's like the Spanish R.
Yeah. Hopeless. I can't.
Okay. And then the shuka is that ka.
Warda. That is still in the back of my.
Yeah.
War.
Well, at least you can do the Rijn. Okay. So that's going to be helpful for Zali. Not so much for Warda. Okay, and let's try to do the bishuka. So that's the ka. So it's not only ka, it's ka. Oh, we lost Nicolene. All right.
I have to do bishuka.
Bishuka.
Bishuka?
Yes.
Bishuka?
Ka.
Ka?
Ka. Kaha.
Kaha.
Ka.
Ka.
That's a very hard one. All right. So al-warda, al-warda, al-warda bishuka.
Al-warda, al-warda, al-warda bishuka.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Nicolene. It's hard. All right. So now I'm going to teach you all the melody, and you're going to sing it along with me. Al-warda, al-warda. Just that. Al-warda, al-warda.
Al-warda, al-warda.
Great. Al-warda bishuka.
Al-warda bishuka.
Great. Al-warda, al-warda, al-warda bishuka.
Al-warda, al-warda, al-warda bishuka.
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 Yes, great.
Bishuka.
You have it. Amazing. Thank you, Nicolene. All right. Is there anybody else who would like to try al-warda, al-warda? Stefan. So I'll give it to you once, okay? And everybody, you can sing along. Al-warda, al-warda, al-warda bishuqa.
الوردة 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 بشوقة.
Yes, almost. Just let me show you the end again. Al-warda, al-warda. So that you got. And then al-warda bishuqa.
Okay. الوردة 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 بشوقة. Sorry, I keep forgetting the last part.
Bishuqa.
بشوقة.
Yes. Al-warda, al-warda, al-warda bishuqa.
الوردة 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 بشوقة.
Okay, let me break it down again. Al-warda, al-warda. Just that.
الوردة الوردة.
Great. Al-warda bishuqa.
الوردة بشوقة.
You got it. Yes, Stefan. Okay, Danny, you're asking about rhythm. Very good question, because that's the harder part. Okay, so I'm gonna clap it and sing it, and let's do it in a loop for a little bit, just so you get into the groove. Al-warda, al-warda, al-warda bishuqa. Again. Al-warda, al-warda, al-warda bishuqa. Again. Al-warda, al-warda, al-warda again or good or okay, one last time. الوردة 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 بشوقها. Great. Could you explain when fingers are clicked or when one claps? Oh yeah, fingers are not clicked. The way to like actually count rhythm in North Africa is to clap, and actually to clap with fingers open, and that creates like a very resonant sound. هيلي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو أنا جني وجنوني على الحاجة مشروقة هيلي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو سيدي حبيبي هو لا حبيبة هيا غزالي مالو نساني هيلي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو. All right, so now that you have a good grasp of the song, the verses and the chorus, we're gonna go through it a couple times. So I need a few volunteers who are gonna jump in to do call and response. So if you could please raise your hands. Okay, we have Mona. Who else wants to try? Nicolene? Yes? Are there other people? Mira, yes. Okay. Any other person who wants to jump in?
So, can I ask you something?
Yes, of course.
You say to respond. So, are we supposed to say hawa and hawiya?
Yes.
Or
So what I'm gonna...
are we supposed to sing along with you?
Yes, so we're going to do call and response, because if we sing along, it's going to be chaotic.
Just the response.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll go in circles in the sense that I'm going to start the call, and then we'll do Nicolene 1, Mona 2, and Mira 3. Okay? And we'll go around in circles. So the first Haili is going to be Nicolene, second is going to be Mona, and Mira, you're going to respond on the chorus. Okay?
I cannot follow you completely. So what are you asking us exactly?
You're going to respond on the bolded answers. Haili, Habibi, Jali, Fain Huwa. Just the second line that's bolded. Haili, Habibi.
And I'm supposed to sing that then?
Yes.
No. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, and
Okay, I'll call you when you're supposed to go, okay? Mira, do you mind unmuting Nicolene, Mona, and yourself?
Yeah, everyone has the option to unmute at any time.
Oh, okay, amazing.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? Nicolene. يحسر على دكين في القدر ديالي منى
هالي حبيبي جالي فين هو
سيدي حبيبي
هوا
حبيبي جالي
هوا
غزالي مال نساني Mira, Haili.
Oh, sorry, Haili حبيبي ديالي فين هو.
Again, الوردة بشوقها. Nicolene. Haili
حبيبي ديالي فين هو. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just...
It's okay. أنا جني وجنوني على الحجة مشروقة. منى.
هايلي حبيبي جالي فين هو
سيدي حبيبي
هوا
لا حبيبة
هيا
غزالي مال نساني هيلي
حبيبي ديالي فين هو.
All together. هلي دار البيرة ديالي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو يحسر على دوك الايام في القدر ديالي هيلي هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو سيدي حبيبي هو حبيبي ديالي هو غزالي مالو نساني هيلي حبيبي ديالي فين هو